invincible, and he can take every punch out there, and he's, you know, obviously they call him the juggler.
That's it, Slim. Very impressed. Shoulder round, good head fake. You're making it missile as well.
Fights that have literally ended in seconds. He fought legends: Klitschko, Usyk, Ruiz, Ngannou.
Biggest shot I have seen live.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared.
This is dangerous.
Okay, but this shows you that you can't jump in with a professional boxer who's a former two-time world champion and expect to be able to compete.
Heavyweight fighters are shocked to see Anthony Joshua in the best shape of his career. Joseph Parker didn't hold back. He said Joshua looks extremely dangerous right now. With a physique like that, one clean punch could change the whole fight.
If he lands on you, you're done. You're out. And I
Ben Sr. is warning Jake Paul not to underestimate his opponent. He says this fight is very dangerous, and his reaction shows he truly believes Paul could be in for a major upset if he's not careful. Every word he says shows just how serious and high stakes this matchup is. Johnny Nelson says Jake Paul is probably frustrated right now because he knows exactly what kind of challenge is coming his way in the ring. Nelson explains that even after a great training camp, Paul would still feel pressure and irritation. His reaction shows he understands how tough this fight will be and how strong he needs to be mentally. Every word highlights the intensity and the growing...
Don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know, but...
Fury is shocked by how good Anthony Joshua looks right now, saying everything else seems terrible next to Joshua's form and training. He says Joshua is sharper, stronger, and completely ready. Fury's reaction is basically a warning to Jake Paul, because if Joshua is in this kind of shape, he's extremely dangerous, and it will be almost impossible to survive against him. His words highlight how prepared Joshua is and how quickly the fight could end if Paul makes even one mistake.
He'd be pissed off. Really? He'd be pissed off because he'd be thinking, damn it, because I know what stick I'm going to get. So at the time he said, I had a great training camp. You know, so if you want us to believe that.
Piers Morgan points out that Anthony Joshua is riding a big wave of confidence and momentum right now. His reaction shows he really admires Joshua's form and preparation. Morgan is clearly impressed and warns that Jake Paul is in for a tough challenge because Joshua's confidence makes him extremely dangerous in the ring. Every word highlights how well Joshua is performing and why Paul can't afford to underestimate him.
Shockingly terrible. Yeah, shockingly, yeah. Down. Very much down. Can't shake it. Can't shake it.
Usyk says Anthony Joshua's current form is crazy and is clearly impressed by Joshua's strength and preparation. His reaction shows that Joshua is performing at a level Jake Paul will struggle to handle. Usyk's words serve as a warning. Joshua's skill, confidence, and conditioning make him extremely hard to survive against in the ring. Every comment highlights Joshua's dominance and the serious challenge Paul is about to face.
All I would say is Joshua is...
Derek Chisora is warning Anthony Joshua to stay sharp because if Jake Paul lands a clean shot, it could haunt him forever. He says Joshua needs to dominate and finish the fight within 3 rounds. Chisora respects Paul's power, but he makes it clear that Joshua's skill and preparation give him everything he needs to control the fight and end it quickly, as long as he executes properly.
Wow.
My friend, but it's crazy, man. Listen,
Spencer Oliver is warning Jake Paul that Anthony Joshua is on a whole different level. He reminds everyone how Joshua beat Francis and Anu quickly and points out Paul's limited experience against real boxers. Oliver's words show respect for Joshua's skill, conditioning, and ring intelligence, while making it clear that surviving against him will be very tough. Every comment highlights Joshua's dominance and the serious challenge Paul faces in the ring.
But I will say this to AJ, don't let that guy knock you out, because that will be fucking nightmares forever. But 1 or 2, put it this way, AJ has to kill.
Johnny Nelson says Anthony Joshua looks unstoppable and ready to dominate. Calls this the new Joshua and talks about how other top fighters are reacting. Nelson's words show amazement at Joshua's form and preparation, while warning Jake Paul that he's stepping into the ring with a fighter in peak condition who could end the fight quickly if given the chance.
God help Jake Paul, that's all I can say. We saw what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline, well, this kid's coming from another level. You know, white-collar boxing in 2018, gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer he got beat by.
Frank Warren is praising Anthony Joshua as a huge favorite because of his experience and skills. He mentions Joshua's Olympic gold, heavyweight pedigree, and ability to dominate opponents like Ananu. Warren also points out Jake Paul's limited experience and amateur background, making it clear that surviving against Joshua will be very tough. Every word highlights Joshua's dominance and the tough challenge Paul faces.
This is the new Anthony Joshua.
I like this. I like this. Listen, so you hear the likes of what Wilder has to say, Fury has to say, White has to say. These men are raw. You're thinking, boy, I must have.
David Benvitz highlights Anthony Joshua's reputation and skill, mentioning his multiple championships and Olympic gold. He warns that inexperienced fighters have struggled against Joshua before, pointing to Gondu's fight as an example. Benvitz makes it clear that Jake Paul is facing a serious challenge and that Joshua's experience, power, and preparation make him extremely tough to survive against. Every word shows respect and sends a
AJ's a massive favourite. He's a natural heavyweight, two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist. We all seen him. He can punch, he can bang. You see what he done to Ngannou. Jake Paul, I don't think he's had amateur experience. He's had 12 fights.
Anthony Joshua is warning Jake Paul that he plans to land heavy punches and use boxing techniques Paul hasn't faced before. His words show confidence in his preparation and skill, making it clear that Paul will be tested on every level. Surviving against Joshua's mix of power, strategy, and experience will be extremely tough.
Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him.
Eddie Hearn warns that this will be a very dangerous night for Jake Paul. He says AJ doesn't take it easy or play around. He goes in looking to finish the fight quickly. Hearn's words highlight Joshua's aggressive style and skill, sending a strong warning that Paul will have no room for mistakes. Every word shows Joshua's focus, intent, and deadly mix of experience and power in the ring.
Punches, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to expose him to certain tricks in boxing that he may not have seen yet, and I'm going to bring him to another school of.
Spencer Oliver says Jake Paul believes he can win if he lands a clean shot. While Paul is confident, Oliver warns that Joshua's experience and preparation make that very unlikely. Every phrase highlights the danger Joshua poses and the tough challenge Paul faces against a fighter in peak form. Oliver's words show both the hype around Paul and the reality of Joshua's dominance.
Dangerous night's work, and AJ will be, people say, oh, will he take it easy? AJ will be AJ. He don't mess around, he don't play with his food. He'll be going in there looking to take him out.
Carl Froch warns that this fight could end quickly because AJ's 1-2 combination and ring intelligence are too much for Jake Paul. He points out that Paul doesn't have the skills to compete effectively. Froch's words highlight Joshua's precision, control, and ability to dominate even experienced opponents. Every comment shows the big gap in skill, conditioning, and strategy between Joshua and Paul, sending a strong warning that surviving will be almost impossible.
Truly believe, watching the press conference yesterday, I truly believe that he believes he's going to win the fight. He's got to just get into range, land a shot, and he'll knock Anthony Joshua.
Johnny Nelson points out that Anthony Joshua's size and skill give him a big advantage over Jake Paul. He says Joshua is expected to dominate and finish the fight decisively. Nelson's words show that Paul faces a huge challenge, and underestimating Joshua could be dangerous. Every phrase highlights Joshua's superiority, strength, and preparation, sending a clear warning that surviving against him will be very difficult.
Could happen. This is a one-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy.
Duke McKenzie warns that even though the fight might look easy for Anthony Joshua and lucrative for Jake Paul, the danger is very real. He says Joshua could seriously hurt Paul or even put him in a hospital. McKenzie points out that Paul isn't a serious boxer and emphasizes Joshua's power, skill, and experience, showing that this fight could turn into a nightmare for Paul if he underestimates the challenge.
Bigger than Jake Paul in our world. So there'll be more of a judgment on Anthony Joshua than there will be on Jake Paul, because Anthony Joshua is expected.
Dave Allen points out the size difference between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. He says Joshua's natural heavyweight build gives him a big advantage. Allen warns that Paul will struggle to handle Joshua's strength and physicality. Every word highlights how Joshua's size, power, and experience make him very difficult for.
It is his fight of his career. If he wants to get 100 million and not even break sweat, you take the fight. Is it going to enhance his stock as the world's #1 contender? Not at all, because nobody's going to take Jake Paul seriously. But on the other hand, should I don't even want to play devil's advocate. What if Joshua hurts this guy seriously?
I'm not sure really. Jake Paul's a cruiserweight, isn't he? Not even that. He won't be anywhere near as big as partner of mine.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Jake Paul has gone from this fight to this fight. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but one is a little bit bigger than the other. So what is going on here? Why does Jake Paul think that this is something he can do?